And to a regular segment during this crisis, the craziness in the coronavirus times. Let's start with this Guardian story on the anguish of the polyamorous in this pandemic. I mean, think of the agony. Which of your partners do you pick to go into quarantine with you? Well, talk about a first world problem, or is it a third world problem? I can't make that one out. Joining me is Tim Blair, opinion writer of the Daily Telegraph, one of the country's very finest bloggers. Certainly the, I think I read him every day. Tim Blair, lovely to see you. Now, listen, you and I don't have this problem. We're not even asking for a friend here. But is this, when I first read it, I thought, what a 21st century story of a society in decay. There's a plague sweeping in and Guardian readers are worrying, which of my wives or my husbands or my partners, my several lovers, do I go into isolation with?
Yes, indeed. It's an unusually written piece too. Yeah, it is The Guardian, because it begins with all the hard stats about the number of infections and the number of deaths, and then bang, you're talking about polyamorous people have to decide. Well, I'd say, were I in that situation, I'd tell each one of them that I was with another one and give myself a few weeks off, just to have them all convinced that you're seeing someone else in the harem or the group or whatever the hell they call themselves, and give yourself a little break. Or just make sure you don't pick the one who's got a lot of bats in the fridge.
I wonder when a society last contemplated that kind of question. I was thinking before, wouldn't it be medieval Europe, because they were pretty Christian then? Maybe it was, Roman times, or the plagues then, when, the times when they were burning Christians. Maybe the Romans thought, well, which of my concubines do I take with me, in hiding? But here we are, full circle. Tim, on your blog, you're trying to solve another coronavirus crisis for the nation, for which the nation thanks you. A frog with 5 legs had one of them amputated at a clinic in Mission Beach, but it's now been trapped by a Queensland coronavirus ban on non-essential travel. The people treating this poor frog can't fly him back, now 4-legged, to Mackay, because wildlife rule says where you picked up the wildlife, you must return it. Mate, here's another story. Who could have predicted?
Oh, I saw this coming years ago.
Yeah. I remember you telling me, in fact, once over a barbecue, this will happen. It's Nostradamus. It's in one of his quatrains. But I don't know why they descended all the way from Mackay to Mission Beach, which is 600 kilometres, when any decent French restaurant can perform that procedure in a second. It's only one leg. One leg. And I think if a French restaurant had gone by, the frog would be left with one and they'd have taken the 4.
Well, maybe, or they'd have taken it as a breeding frog. I mean, this thing's just a bargain of meat. But I asked readers to come up with their solutions, and one of the more practical ones was an excellent suggestion. Freight is still being delivered between various towns throughout Queensland. Just put it on a truck, and Bob's your uncle. Frog goes home.
Yeah, provided it doesn't go to the local French restaurant in Mackay. I have no idea if it's a good one. Someone will inform me, but the frog will not want to be sent there. Tim, China keeps exporting masks in this epidemic that don't actually work. Our border force has seized 800,000 of them from China that don't work properly. To be fair, others from China do. But Holland and Spain and the Czech Republic and even Turkey have also reported faulty masks from China, and also faulty testing kits that were made in China. Spain did that, which is a rather disastrous problem to export. What do you make of all this?
Well, we all kind of we were sceptical when China said that this wasn't a made-in-China virus, but maybe they're onto something. I mean, at least the virus works, unlike these masks, which evidently don't in enormous amounts of cases. It's a fairly simple thing to get right, you'd imagine, a mask. And I noticed that Australia's now signed an agreement with Taiwan that we'll source from Taiwan raw fibre, unwoven fibre that we'll be using for our future mask needs. And in return, we'll be exporting to Taiwan the raw alcohol that you need to make proper hand sanitizer. So I'd say in the future, just going
good deal,
extending from what your previous guest was talking about. In the future realignment, we're going to have a lot more business to do with places like Taiwan, a lot more.
I would so hope that. I think Australia's been disgraceful in helping China to shut out Taiwan, and yes. I think we need to really make a line in the sand here. I mean, and just learn from Taiwan. They've kept the economy open, only 3 deaths, and their population is about the same size of ours, and no one wants to talk about it. And the World Health Organization won't either, because China doesn't like it. Finally, mate, fascinating research by demographers John Black. John's been on my show, a good guy, and Janine McMullen show that it's the rich who tend to get sick from this virus, even if it's the poor, of course, who suffer most from the bans to stop it, you know, casual workers and the like, all laid off. The high-risk group for infection turns out to be professional couples living in urban areas, inner urban mainly, with 2 jobs in industries like, you know, finance and real estate, professional consultancy. I guess, you know, they're people who tend to ski in Aspen or fly to Europe or, as we've seen, take cruises. Absolutely.
Well, just before I get onto that, happy birthday to me. In Chinese coronavirus statistics, I'm just 28, so there.
Oh, congratulations, mate. I didn't get you a present.
Again. Anyway, on this particular matter, the class of people you're talking about, of course, are exactly the same, broadly speaking, class that really believes we should take further action on climate change. And now they've doomed us all by arriving here in jets.
Absolutely. I thought the great thing was there's a great big global warming conference that's just been cancelled. They said, oh, no, because of the coronavirus. And I'm thinking, if you were a global warming conference, wouldn't you have cancelled the jet years ago, because that was, again, you know, going to kill the world? But apparently they see a real crisis, and finally they're really reacting. But anyway,
you remember, of course, that Extinction Rebellion abandoned a planned die-in because of the coronavirus that was actually going to kill them.
Well, how interesting. They could have gone to a real one and really made us sit up and notice. But there you go. Yeah, honestly, some people just aren't serious enough. Tim Blair, thank you so much indeed for your time.